Okay, today is April 11, 2015. Let's take a look at the market. Before we do that, let's quickly review some of the market breadth indicator. Here I got the S&P 500 up here on the top, and here's the cumulative advanced decline line, and then the new high, new low. And on the bottom here is the VIX. You can see the VIX is getting close, back down to the level last seen in December. And then again, looking at this, the positive divergence on the advanced decline line versus the S&P 500. You see that the number of issues participating in the upside is increasing, at least on the upslope, while the S&P 500 is trying to make its way back to the pivot high back in March timeframe. So with that said, let's go and take a look at the indexes. First, looking at the Dow Jones 30. And last week, we were looking at the possibility of maybe breaking down this trend line and these level down here, this pivot low here, and possibly, we're saying if it break this, then we might see it come down and retest the February or the December low here on this level, somewhere down at this 17,000 level. And then the other thing is on the upside, we're basically saying that it has to come back and reclaim the December pivot high. And if we could take out this December closing high, then we could look at the index, possibly make another attempt on taking out the all-time high here. So right now it's essentially sitting close to the December closing level here. And next week, if it's could take that out, come back up and take out this pivot, when we be looking at the possibility of come up and retest this all-time high and even possibly take it out. And if it does, then we're basically looking at somewhere around this 18,500 level, and that is conceivable, or on this 127 extension based on this Fibonacci swing, it will be somewhere around 18,600. And looking at the transportation was kind of weak ever since it caught into this doji here. This basically like a big evening star topping pattern that came down, and it's sort of forming a base here, and it broke through this base, and then it kind of got this little bit of a more like a morning star type of reversal, and now it's got back up at this level here, this December, the September pivot high. So if the Dow Jones consolidate a little bit, and who knows, maybe the transportation will catch up and come back up and confirm the next all-time high that the Dow Jones be making. But right now, the last all-time high that the Dow Jones made, or the last couple of them, is essentially a non-confirmed Dow Jones theory, new high for the Dow. So we just have to keep an eye on the transportation here. Certainly, with the other indexes, for example, looking at the New York Composite, you can see the New York Composite is also getting very close to a new all-time high, because you look at this pivot high here. This is the last, all-time closing high, which is somewhere around 11,122. So we're only basically like 10 points away, because it closed at 11,112 and some change on Friday. So you can see that is also getting close to another new all-time high. And then on the NASDAQ 100, see NASDAQ 100 kind of make a little bit of a double bottom here, right? And then it took out this little pivot. So right now it's also making its way back up, and could be coming up and retest this multi-year high here once again. And I still believe that the dot-com bubble high is going to, I think this index is going to go out and go up and take that out before this thing rolls over. So I'm looking at a much higher level than this 44.83. And then if we go back and look at the S&P 500, you can see the S&P 500. We're also looking at, similar to the Dow Jones 30, we're looking at this, this particular trend line. And remember, we're also we're saying that there is a little bit of a head and shoulder pattern on the 30-minute time frame that we're looking for it to break. If we break that, then probably we'll come down and test this level here, this pivot low, back in the early March pivot low, and it can't hold that, then be essentially come back down and retest the December pivot low here down here at 1972. Then if that doesn't hold, then we're basically saying possibly get down to this 1800 level, because a lot of people are still waiting for this type of correction from the S&P 500. Right now, it doesn't appear to be in the card right now. But of course, there's always that possibility, right? Anything could happen. Maybe the wall, something happened this weekend or whatever, right? Then this whole thing just collapsed and got a flash crash or whatever, you know, black swan thing. But if we just look at the possibility and also looking at the technical, that doesn't appear to be in the card, right? I mean, the likelihood of that happening is very low. So right now, we still basically look at this S&P 500, took out the December closing high, and essentially you'll be looking at this thing and work yourself up and try to retest the all-time high. When you look at the Russell 2000, I remember last year the Russell 2000 was lagging basically down here, and look at right now the Russell 2000 essentially is leading the market, and it got really close. It's basically like 1.5 points away from us, from the all-time closing high here on this 1266.37. Right, and essentially we got close. It's close at 1264.77 on Friday, and actually it got to that level on an intraday. Believe it got to 1266, so it was 37 cents away from that all-time closing high. So you can see that right now the market is still look fairly strong. I think as long as there's still a lot of people waiting for this market to correct, and you're looking for this 10 to 15% or 20% correction, it's the same thing like they're looking for the oil to make a new low. The market have a tendency to defy the majority, right? So if most of the people is thinking one way, the market is most likely going to go the opposite way. So with that said, good luck to you next week, and might put up something later on some of the stock. But for now, this is it on the market review. Enjoy your weekend.